So I am a big Pinterest fan, which meant that inevitably I would run into these beautiful painted jackets, and I thought to myself, "Aw, these are beautiful. I need one!" This is my denim jacket that we are going to hopefully upgrade. It's rare when I find jackets that fit just right, so I can only hope that I won't ruin this one. So here is my box of tricks, and here are the paints that I've uncovered. Actually, some of these guys are more than 15 years old, and I bet that this guy, this one and that one was the same that I painted this Jigoku Shoujo t-shirt some 15 years ago with. So yeah, they're not new. Here I am testing out my paints. One thing was sure about my jacket design, and that was that I wanted roses in it. So I watched a tutorial once, like one time, thinking that I'll nail it.
Here we can observe the rare species of the artist who thought watching a tutorial once was enough.
Yeah, I can do that. After properly watching aforementioned tutorial, I realized I painted the colors upside down. The lighter color should be the outer edge of the petal, not the inside. I will link this awesome tutorial in the description box below. And who knew? My paint blobs started to resemble relatively acceptable roses. Okay, so here are the swatches freshly out of the wash. So here we have our test patches without any kind of fabrics mediums. As you can see, there's a slight wear and tear towards where the fabric has been folded, especially the white paint has kind of chipped off, which is not what we want. However, this side where we used the fabric medium, as you can see, there's also a little bit of a fold here, but nothing happened to the white paint. It's interesting with these guys because I haven't actually used any kind of fabric medium for these, and still there isn't any sign of any kind of damage, which is pretty cool. Thanks 15-year-old acrylic paints. Next is some brainstorming to design my own pattern, which I enjoyed a lot. As I mentioned before, one thing that I was sure about is that I wanted some roses. Another thing that I'm obsessed with lately is any kind of geometrical shapes. Tattoo designs tend to play around with that kind of look, so those inspired me especially. I kept going back to this one design that I really liked, and after some tweaking I took a piece of paper which was the copy of the back panel of my jacket and roughly mocked my design on it. I decided to fill in my design with black ink because I wanted to trace my drawing onto a new piece of paper just to be on the safe side. Then I cut out around the design, plus the inside of the bottom of my circle on top and the pointy bit of my triangle below. This way I'll be able to trace these bits on my jacket as well. After carefully aligning the cutout at the center of the jacket, I begin to trace it around the edges and on the major lines on the inside. I also play a bit of flower arrangement and trace the roses too. Paint straight, crisp lines, I recommend using a small and flat brush, and I hope you can tell from the video, but I'm basically painting only one edge of the line at a time because you can control the brush the best this way. What I found useful was to use these really thin nail art tape things. They ended up being perfect for masking out the gaps between my geometrical sun like thingamajig, so all I needed to do once masked was to paint the half circle on top.
Right, well you know how to do it, so previous note, and I traveled again. So
then I paint a base for the roses with the white acrylic paint mixed with the textile medium and start peeling off the tape. As you can see, there are specks of gold left along the edges here, which is not ideal, but I guess we can always go in with some black paint to correct it. For the roses, I'm going to mark the details of the leaves and petals again onto this white base surface. Then I will start painting the leaves, as those are furthest in the back. Then comes the rose on the left, followed by the rose on the right, which is basically the topmost layer of the whole composition. For the rose petals, I'm using a medium-sized flat brush. I've marked up some very light guidelines for the petals in pencil, and I'm also using the little cutouts as guides. Then for the actual painting, I dipped the two corners of the brush into the two colors of the gradient on my rose, which is pink and white, and then I tried to swoop it to form a petal. Because I can't quite pull this technique off yet, I ended up going back and fixing my gradients manually, making some areas darker, fixing the shape of the petals. But the result was still okay for my liking, so I'm happy. After the paint is dry, I go ahead and iron it in place. I'm using a medium heat setting and no steam, and in order to prevent the hot iron sticking to our paint and ruin it, I'm using a sheet of baking paper. I hope you like this tutorial and subscribe for more art and craft content.
That's why I film you fucking going all broken. There you are.